Okay. Good morning, Miss Cook.
Good morning, Miss Torres.
Thank you for meeting with me. I just wanted to go over with you a couple of things that is required for me for my Teach Now program. And thank you for being my mentor. I'm excited to work with you in the first grade. This is just kind of tentatively some things that we need to discuss today, just to kind of lay out for the 12-week period. So the lessons that hopefully I'll be teaching in the subject area is math. Is that a good?
That is.
Okay. And then the time that is good for you?
1 o'clock to 2.
1 to 2.
Yep.
Okay. And for the day, I was looking at my schedule and whatever day, I don't know, maybe Monday, since that's the start of a new lesson, or would you like to do it?
No, Mondays are good.
Monday's good? Okay. So Monday. And for the first lesson, would you like me to observe you in the classroom and watch how you do math? Or would you like for me to go ahead and start planning for?
I think observing the first one would be a good idea.
Okay, sounds good. And then do you have some sort of like a curriculum map or
yes, we do.
Plans?
So in January, we're going to start off covering adding 2 digits and subtracting 2 digits the first 2 weeks. And then we'll do, so probably start covering the adding, so maybe you could join in for the subtracting 2 digits.
Perfect. Write this down. Okay.
And then we've been covering graphs the whole year, but we're going to add in the questions for more, how many fewer during January as well. And then place value, we're going to go all the way to the hundreds. We'll have our 100th day of school around this time as well, and that's usually when we like to add in the hundreds place. So that will be January. And then for February, well, actually the 100th day is right at the beginning of February, so we'll kind of cover the hundredths place, and then we'll get the 100th day on February 4th. So then we'll do missing add-ins, so using that strategy of finding that missing number either by subtracting or using manipulatives, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then for graphs, we're going to add in how many total, so they would count how many total on the graph, or adding some together, so like how many cats and dogs.
Okay.
And then fact families, adding that in with our addition and subtraction. And we will have to, at the beginning of February, do some review with adding. It's been a little bit since we've touched on that, so we'll have to go back to add the basics of adding and subtracting before we add in the 2 digits.
Okay.
Then for March, that's when we're going to start covering time. And in first grade, we have to do hour and half hour.
Okay. During your math times, do you traditionally do like stations, or how do you like to run your math?
I kind of base it different throughout the week, usually starting with a whole group lesson to introduce the skill, and then it kind of just depends on the skill, whether it lends itself to stations or more task sheet type activities. So it just depends. Okay. A little bit of both.
And then for assessments, do you usually do that later on in the week, or do you try to do assessments daily just to kind of fill out where your students are at?
If we're covering a skill for a week, then somewhere in the middle of the week, I'll do like a little formative assessment just to check and see how they're doing with it, and then and that could just be a quick walk around the room, checklist, our observation. And if I see anybody struggling with it, then we'll work on it, review it with them before Friday. Usually by Friday, we'll do a formal assessment. If it's something we work on for 2 weeks, then same thing by the end of that 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, thank you for giving me an idea of that. And so for classroom expectations and routines, what do you have, like magic words or key phrases that they know?
We use the whole brain callbacks, so class, yes, macaroni and cheese, everybody freeze, same that we use throughout the whole school. And then for behavior management, we started in December doing sticker charts, so they earn stickers to put on their chart, and then as they fill in the different rows of the chart, they can choose, they have choice prizes for that. So they definitely are doing that for behavior. For routines, I try to limit them going to the bathroom, but of course, if it's an
Okay.
emergency, we have little lights on the wall, so they hit the boys' light or the girls' light.
Okay.
For pencils, we have a dull cup and a sharp cup, so they raise their hand to go trade out their pencil. Trying to think of other procedures. Usually, if we do groups, they kind of know what group. Sometimes I do it flexible, sometimes I do it, by level, so they know where to go in the room and where things are.
Great. And then we touched on the learning standards and the curriculum map. I wanted to share with you, this is the Teach Now rubric, and I believe you'll probably be getting one emailed
I think
to
I
you
did
soon.
already.
But this kind of goes off of how I'm going to get assessed by my Teach Now instructors in Module 8. And as you can see, it just goes through different standards. And I believe you're going to have to, after I teach a lesson a week, I think you're going to have to go through and you're going to have to assess me and chat with me about, different areas that I could improve upon. And so this is for you, just to have for yourself. You're welcome. And the only thing else that I needed to touch on, which I'm glad we had already gotten these printed out and handed out to the children to return, and there's only one child that we need to make sure we'll angle the camera away from him.
Right.
So, and I will have an open communication with you and with the parents in the classroom if they have, any questions and other things like that. So I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me, and I'm excited to work with your first grade babies, and I think it's going to be fun.
It is.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.